She just wanna work and pay her bills. Fuck up on a man who keep it real. That's right. She just want her girls to know the deal. They do. She just told her boss just how she feel. Fuck you. She just hit the club up on a Thursday. Told the bartender I ain't feeling thirsty. Took a couple shots just like it's her birthday. Hit the tree up just like it was Earth Day.
Saw her at a club in a Lambo. She don't eat no pork, she gon' have no. Got these niggas shooting shots, call them Rambo. Wanna let them know it's not a man's world. They try to tap it and they black, call them Sambo. They try to tap it and they white, call them CIA. She know the truth about the game, and she don't play. She know the truth about the fame, so she okay. You like blah blah blah, she like
dollar signs.
You like rent this here, she like
I'm buying mine.
She got her besties back when it is trying times. She used to boof the pack when it was flying time. All around the world, see those pretty girls. Yeah, lights, camera, action. She ain't even
Hey y'all, welcome back to another great episode of We Don't Sip Tea, We Drink Wine. This is the Atlanta Season 3 edition of us doing reviews of Season 3. Season 4 is about to premiere. It premieres on September 15th. We finally got a day, so I'm super excited about that. Yeah. They already started putting out titles for the episodes and everything, so it's really exciting. If y'all haven't seen the trailer yet, please go to YouTube, check it out. We are going to get started talking about episode 6, White Fashion. The subtitles or the definition or whatever for this episode, how they described it is, I definitely seen this before on a better show. They're always stealing ideas, but the fashion industry got to be exposed. Hashtag streetwear. So this episode is a little crazy. It opens up pretty much as a model shivering, and she's getting fitted for an outfit in a designer studio, and they're about to put out this design that is supposedly going to shake the world or whatever. And then you show a bunch of white people, talking about this brand, this design and everything like that. And the guy said he's going to make sure his daughter gets it or his niece or whatever. And then we see that it's like the Central Park 5 jersey, a raccoon on the back, or on the front. And then in this poster on the subway in New York, you see a white girl wearing the jersey and then black people surrounding her. So this shit's crazy. It is weird. What were y'all thoughts about it opening up like that? Did you even see that coming?
I didn't. You know how they always one interesting things they do on Atlanta is that they're, even when they're setting up for something, they're not really cluing you in onto what you're about to get hit with. And what they've done is they'll be doing some of the dialogue will be so interesting and ridiculous that you're so focused on what was just being said that you don't realize what you're about to get hit over the head with. And that was kind of the case with that one to me. Right. Because he just got through talking to fashion people. He's like, this woman's freezing, get her a cigarette. And it just, all these ridiculous things are being said right there while they're talking, and then next thing you know, it's like boom. None of that was even the point. It was they hitting you with something much harder.
Yes. What did you think, Dominic?
I knew it was going to be something up with it, just because Atlanta likes to just throw them curveballs with their stories, where it's just like they go up to the just absurd with it.
Mm-hmm.
I was not expecting the Central Park 5, and then the marketing that they have for it was wild.
Yo, I was like, no, they don't got this white lady wearing this jersey. So then we get back, right? And we're in the studio again, but we see Ern and Paperboy and of course Darius being Darius. And now we get different journeys again this episode. So you see Ern talking to Paperboy, and Ern is really questioning if this is a really good idea, whereas Paperboy is like, shit, it doesn't even matter. Tommy Hilfiger had this thing, and it's funny because in real life, I think for a long time, Black people didn't like Tommy Hilfiger because it was a rumor that he hated Black people or something like that. So I don't know where that rumor came from, but apparently it wasn't true. It hasn't been true. But have y'all heard that rumor before about Tommy?
Yeah, I remember when that rumor was rampant. It was, I mean, it's like I don't even know. I always think that's an irrelevant situation anyway, but I won't get into that. Why? It's just we sometimes we always hear about, does this person hate Black people or this person like Black people? It's like it's not really relevant in the greater scheme of things if that person does or not. Is the business still uses child labor probably? So I don't know if it really matters.
Word. Okay, that part. But yeah, you right. That's a different topic.
Yeah. I won't even go down that road. That's not where we're at.
I know. You sound like me. I always want to be like this social justice warrior on this different path. But yeah, we're not gonna go there. So he said that, and then Darius, so the people come downstairs and then they're just like, okay, so like, what are your terms? We're looking for you guys to come in and just be this voice of us apologizing to Black people for real. Because that's what it is. And Paperboy starts asking for a bunch of stuff, and then of course Darius goes on this journey of jollof rice. What did y'all think about that whole scene?
I thought you talking about just the scene in particular with Darius kind of making what his demands were and
just like all of them making their demands at this time, and then the designers like just going with it.
They kind of had him against the wall, so it's like, hey, get what you can get. You gotta get it. I can't hate that at all. I did think it was interesting. I forgot exactly how Darius described jollof rice, but
he says as if your taste buds are being scammed by a Nigerian prince at a Burna Boy concert. Do you agree, Dominic?
Honestly, I just made jollof rice not too long ago, and yeah, honestly, can I agree?
Say it adds up. So which did you make? Did you go with the Nigerian version, or did you maybe use some other recipe in the diaspora, like maybe Ghanaian?
Nah, I did a Nigerian one this time.
Okay, all right.
That's what's up. I'm glad you stuck to the roots. So they go on, and so Darius goes on his jollof rice journey, and Paperboy and Ern go into another scene where they're just talking in front of the Italian designers and stuff. I guess they're Italian, right? And right?
Yeah, I'm not sure what they were.
Me neither, because he said this man didn't even speak English, which I was like, Paperboy, really? But he was like, Ern wasn't feeling the collab. Did y'all think it was a good idea for Paperboy? Did it matter?
I knew it wasn't going to be a good idea. It just, it never is. It's always performative, and their interest is always about saving face. Just do whatever's going to make that shareholders happy. It's not going to be about actually, doing anything of any substance. So. Yeah, I wasn't shocked at that at all. I didn't know it was going to go the way it went, but I knew it was going to be. I knew it wasn't going to be, good for him.
Absolutely. What did you think, Dominic?
No, I really enjoyed that scene just because of one, how he just shot it, because both of them having a two different perspectives. Ern saying do the nonprofit, actually get your foot in the door to be like a part of the board. That way you can learn from the inside. Then create your own thing to actually give back. Well, Paperboy's whole thing was he wanted to make sure like he got free stuff. Like he would be looking good like from here on out and doesn't have to pay a single cent for it.
Word. Because Ern
And
was like, "Do you care about your reputation?" And he was like, "My reputation, I shot niggas." Like, what?
yeah,
Yeah, he didn't care at all. But I do like what
definitely.
you said, that because I think that's always been the dynamic between him and Paperboy. Like Ern always kind of saw like the bigger picture, whereas Paperboy was just trying to get to things fast paced in a sense. So
Yeah,
that's a
yeah,
good idea.
yeah. I thought you. I mean, obviously, it kind of stuck with Paperboy once he was in the room. I think him seeing other people that were, really trying to just get what they could get, made him see how I guess he saw how he looked, and it kind of changed his perspective on it.
Yes. So Darius goes on this adventure with this white woman to get this jollof rice. So they have to go to like this other side of town or whatever to get this rice. He goes into this Nigerian spot, really small mom and pop shop, and he asked for the jollof rice, but he asked for it in a particular way. So she asked him, is he Najee? And so he describes that he is and what his tribe is and everything like that. And so she just, suggests what kind of food he should get and everything. And the white lady he's with is just so impressed, and she just like loves it there. And he's just trying to explain his background, his culture, but then she's like, wanted to get the music that's being played in the restaurant. It's just so weird. It's a weird interaction. And it's really why I don't like bringing white people into my spaces for real. So, what did y'all think about that scene?
Well, I mean, I think if you've listened to me on this podcast a time or two, then you already know that this hit the mark of the theme that runs through the entire series to me, well, through this season, and that's that relationship with white supremacy. It always asks that same question: what's the cost and who pays?
Mm,
When you have that relationship, like you said, when they come into your house and they want to consume you,
yeah.
then that there's a cost. There's a cost to that consumption, and are they even aware of the cost, or do they care? And in Darius's case, he wasn't even thinking about that she was going to come in and want to consume Nigerian food, and I don't mean that just in eating, but just consume the as a product and then spit it out as something else entirely.
Right. Yeah. What are your thoughts, Dominic?
Oh no, that scene had the same effect as like Gail had. I mean, like, because I'm like wary of like showing like some of my white friends like the more ethnic like restaurants around. I'm like, because she peep game the whole entire time, just asking everything, just dissecting it to the point of just like ripping it off and just colonizing it. Which funny how an English woman doing that to a Nigerian restaurant, especially with the whole history
Word.
behind England colonizing Nigeria,
Word.
and then just doing it again just
Word.
centuries later.
Word. It's the symbolism. It's crazy. So we got to go back to Paperboy, because then Paperboy meets Khalil, and Khalil's like this little activist or whatever. So Khalil gives him the rundown of pretty much how to maneuver this whole white people apology tour. But Paperboy is really not falling in line. So they're at this conference with all these interviewers and people taking pictures with microphones and everything like that. So all the people are up there. The little diversity team is going on, and this is Paperboy's first time. And so they say, "When do you think racism will end?" Is the question. And what Paperboy say? He's already said, like, "Do you think racism will end?" And what Paperboy, he's like, "Fuck no," something like that. And he just goes in. And then Khalil's like, it'll end in 2023. Did he say something like that?
I think it's 2024 is when I think
Yeah.
he wasn't as optimistic as you making him out to be. 2024.
Oops, my bad. Either way, it was just so ridiculous because I'm like, what? Paperboy was so upset. What did you think about that, Dominic?
Oh no, that scene was just wild. I could honestly that's all because it's reflecting just how it is. Like there's so many people out there who just believe that like racism is over, can be over with just these simple little like performance acts in a sense
Yes.
of like doing the whole apology tour, getting people of color on there to do the whole apology tour. Is like multiple companies have done this like multiple times. Like a lot of the higher fashion ones, Gucci, the H&M ones.
Yes.
But for them to just be like, yeah, just give a very, very optimistic answer of 2024. Like,
Yes.
he's been a long time. He knows how to do a song and dance.
Yes, it was a mess. And then they go into the room right after that. So the Paperboy's pissed. So now they're like in this room and they're talking about everything. And I guess Paperboy just doesn't understand. He's trying to, but he's not really getting it. But then he starts really giving them ideas of what they can do. And I don't know, how do you think that scene was with him trying to really understand them and just kind of really Paperboy really wanted to give back. That's what it was. Like after his talk with Earn, you could tell he really did want to try to give back, but it just wasn't working out. What were your thoughts about that, Van?
I thought it was interesting because him sitting in the room and hearing that how surface the conversation was and that how opportunistic everyone was, I think is what really pushed him to that point. And it was like, it's one thing to think that you're going to go in and get what you're going to get. It's another thing to think that you're just a part of a larger group and of a group that none of the people seem to really have any interest in doing anything of any actual value. And so it seemed like it was on him to, I guess, buck against that system, and he thought that would be the idea to do it. I love the way that it plays out, just the way that the exchanges are going between all the different people. You can see, what's his name again?
Khalil.
Khalil, yeah, that
Mm-hmm.
Khalil. He's obviously very well versed in all of this. He's gotten this down to a science.
Right.
So much so that even when they start negotiating an idea that seems more socially conscious, he's all for the discussion, but he knows that this isn't going to work, and that's why instead of him saying he'll spearhead it, he's like, you do it. He's trying to get Al. He's trying to get Paperboy to kind of take the lead on it, and you let them know, put something together and then present it to them, because he's like, I think he's thinking if it works, great, but I don't think it's going to work, and I'm not going to be the person who's going to be the face of it.
Oh, wow, yeah. And I didn't even think of it like that. Like, dang, Khalil did kind of low-key throw him under the bus. But
he's been around.
Yeah, exactly. So now we gotta go to Earn, because Earn finally runs into Van, and she's just sitting in a hotel lobby, and she has a bag, and Earn is like, where have you been? What's up? And she's like, hey, oh, how are you doing? Like, oh, la-di-da-da, it's been a while. How you doing? Like, and he's like, no one's heard from you. Your parents are worried. I've been worried. And she's like, I'm fine. And then this white lady comes rushing in, and she accuses Van of stealing. And it's a really crazy, weird scene, but I don't think it really dawned on me that anything was wrong with Van or that she was really going through anything. I really just was like, okay, Van just wanted to be by herself.
Yeah, I think I got the impression there was definitely something going on with her because of the fact that she hadn't made contact with her family, her mother. No one knew where she was. And that was when I was like, okay, well, there's obviously something going on there. And they sort of hint to some of the pressures that she's facing, but you don't realize it watching it the first time. But they sort of hint to those pressures because as Ern is kind of talking about, well, you've got a kid.
Yes.
And it's like, well, you've got a kid. And in fact, it's the same kid. But yeah, nobody would even bother to think to ask, well, have you been in touch with your child? Have does your child know where you are? Because he's a man, it's not even something that is even discussed. And so that just by virtue of that, there's a certain level of pressure that would be put on her, squarely on her shoulders. And you don't really think about it when you're watching it that first time. But when you add that up with what you end up seeing as a series progresses, it's like, oh yeah, this is a level of pressure that he has no idea about and that he doesn't even have to face, despite the fact that he is the father of this same child.
Yeah. What do you think, Dominic?
I don't know. This is where you definitely start to see more and more like something is definitely going on with Van. Again, to reiterate, like how she wasn't like in contact with anyone. Like she kind of just like ghosted the whole everyone. So she just like falling off, doing whatever, and then it's not until like later on where we see like just what Van has been like going through. But like it was crazy. It was a crazy scene just how like nonchalant she was about everything.
Yeah. The very first time watching it, I definitely didn't notice anything at all. It was just kind of like, oh, this is just like, she's just fine. But then the second time watching it, after that interaction, and then their second interaction where we go back to them at the end of the episode, they have like this really nice intimate moment, and she tells him that he worries too much, and he asks if she stole the wig, and she doesn't ever answer. So you know that they obviously sleep together or whatever, but Ern wakes up and Van's not there. So that was like, oh wow, she really is like, yeah, she's really gone. She's really gone out here.
Yeah.
Check on your strong friends, because your strong
Real talk.
friend done snapped. So that's what it was given. We go back to Darius, and he goes back to the Jollof rice place, of course, and it's closed. And then the white lady, now her name is Sharon, she has a Nigel Bowl food truck parked outside, and she like totally gentrified the place. And then sis makes uh an item on the menu called the Darius.
Yeah.
With peaches in it. It was wild. Darius was tight. What did y'all think about that scene?
It was perfect. It was perfectly executed. Just it told the story, and it summarized what, again, this has been summarized over and over again in different ways. They keep finding different ways to keep making these statements, the difficulty of these interactions, what it looks like to, do the dance with white supremacy, even in attempting to go into a meal, just in every single way. Have it consume everything. Sometimes it works for some white people. In this case, it did. Sometimes it doesn't. But it's consuming everything and everyone. And he just got, he just watched, some people that he was endeared to get consumed in. I mean, although he only met the woman once, they definitely had a familial exchange. And so it's like watching your family get, eaten alive and nothing but bones left. With a peach reduction.
Right. But Sharon had said she wanted to sell the place. The lady had been wanting to sell the place.
Yeah, Sharon said that. She said that. People say a lot of things.
Then like Sharon's full of crap.
We say what we want so we can get what we want sometimes. So I don't know. Oh
I
no,
feel you. I feel you.
she's an unreliable narrator.
Yeah, definitely.
Not you too, Dominic. I feel you. I agree. Would you have been mad, Dominic, if you went back to your favorite spot and then somebody named it after you?
Yeah, because I see the restaurant that's in this place, and it's not gonna taste the same.
Yeah, that shit was fast. The fact that she put it in a bowl like that, it made me so tight. I was like, "What are you doing, white lady?" And then the white lady that runs by him tells him to recycle.
Yeah.
I was like, wow. They done disrespected this man on so many levels.
Yeah,
I,
it's always interesting when you. That's an interesting take to see people who are so conscious of their environment yet so unconscious of their environment. That
Word.
they's like, well, we don't want you to litter here, and we have to protect the environment, but not the people that live in it. They got to go.
Oh wow, that's a good look on it, Van. I didn't even think of that. That's so crazy.
Yeah.
That's wild. That is a good point. Because I was like, why would they add that in there? That is funny. I just thought they did it to like really just put them down even further. Because like, how dare you? um. Okay, so back to Paperboy. This is like his last week, right? He comes up with a reinvest in your hood campaign. He's so hype about it, right? He gets on his live. He starts telling his fans about it. That's what they going to do. That's what they going to come up with. They really going to reinvest in your hood campaign. They done took this man's voice, created the Esco by Esco commercial, and it was real all lives matter. Uh, Paperboy was tight. The funny thing I like about Paperboy is he doesn't discriminate. So when he's mad at everybody, and he will cuss everybody out the same type of way. And it was just real funny. And then they said the proceeds went to Red Cross in Atlanta, and he said Red Cross, they never gonna see that money. And it's funny because in real life, that's how we do be feeling about Red Cross.
Mm-hmm.
And what did y'all think? Dominic, go ahead. How was you feeling about the commercial? Did you love it?
Oh hell no! Because they saw the opportunity, like, yep, we got our soundbite now. Use it to end of the commercial. Completely across from the point of why they even had like Paperboy, all of them with them, and then it was crazy how they got him like that.
Yeah.
But the guy did make a point, like because Khalil, he was able to get all that money that they're donating for this cause to his nonprofit. So he was able to secure some money from himself, and just it's another one of those just like lessons that Paperboy's had to learn just with his newfound like stardom, fame, and money that he's getting now, and just how like navigate this world.
Yeah.
That new world that he's still trying to figure out.
Yeah, that's a fact. And I think it just tied back into it just reminded me of Robin's season for real. And that's why I don't know why people didn't like this season, because it was one and the same. You can't trust the people that you was in your hood with, and you can't trust rich white people either, for real. They both going to scam you, and they both might do you dirty. It just doesn't matter. It's just a dirty game. What did you think, Van?
It's Khalil. He asked the question. He said, why would they give you the tools to not buy their stuff anymore? That's charity. That's what he said. And it's like, and that means something on a business level, obviously, well, just in terms of capitalism. But that, I mean, to be perfectly honest, that's really what white supremacy is. A lot of times, our interaction with white supremacy. The most liberal of white people, for the most part, what they want is to feel better. They don't want things to change. They just want to feel better about it a lot of times. And so they're only going to give you what will help them to feel better. If that means we can paint the street, we'll paint the street. But, or we'll kneel in kente cloth and, wear a kufi if that will help. But we're not going to change that law. Qualified immunity is off the table. And that's what keeps happening. So it's a rough thing to try to negotiate that. And that's one of the things that's always interesting about the shows, because I'm not somebody who's just generally a pessimist, but I mean, they do paint a picture that when you look at it, you're not left with a lot of solutions a lot of times.
That's so true. That's so true. I love your analysis of it, because I mean, I saw that too, but I was definitely seeing it in a different point of view as well. But thank you so much. Episode 7, we have Trini to the Bone. I actually really didn't like this episode, y'all.
I remember you saying that this wasn't one of your favorites. I was shocked.
Yes, I did not.
So what didn't sit right with you about it?
Okay, so it says, so the description of this episode is white people watching be like pain. I just don't understand it. Like, the scene opens up with the white man running the rap music, listening to rap music. So that annoyed me already. And then pretty much it's about a family whose nanny died. She was Trinidadian, and they go to this funeral and they just meet this crazy Trinidadian lady's family. The funeral is a hot ass mess. And but they keep getting this knock on the door, and it keeps getting delivered. They keep getting delivered an envelope, and it's for their nanny who passed away. So they keep returning it, and the envelope keeps coming back, and finally it's the last attempt at the last end of the episode, and then the dad opens up the envelope, and it's the pictures of the nanny and the son. And I just thought it was funny, but it's also like, what? I don't know. I didn't understand the episode. I didn't get its purpose. I thought it was pointless. Chet Hanks being in it annoyed me. I hate him so much. Like,
I loved his role.
No, it was great that he was in that role.
What?
It was a role made for him.
I agree, because he is such a fake black man.
Yeah. But he pulls that. It works so well. It works perfectly in that particular episode with what they were doing with it.
I agree, because he really had that accent, y'all. He really tried to pull off a Trini accent. And then y'all saw that little boy, he was just going in at church, just going along, amen. Amen. I don't know how y'all feel about the episode.
Well, I know I sound like a broken record, but I loved it. I loved the episode, and it fit, and it was very much in line with the theme. But I'm sure we'll get to that in a moment. But it was very much in line with the same theme that that's been going on through the whole season.
You can lead it, Van. I don't like this episode for real. I'm gonna be real with you. I really do not.
Man, you sour toward this one. No, it's okay. Okay, so the general theme again: white supremacy. What's the cost and who pays? So the cost is that this family doesn't have that, and this is something that's happened for generations, because it was a thing for a lot of Americans. This family doesn't have their mother there, but in exchange they get the things that they need as far as money is concerned, at least enough money to survive.
Right.
And the cost, so that's the cost for them. But the question about who pays is everybody pays. She pays because she can't raise her children. She can't always be there for her children when they really need her. This little boy is paying because his parents, they're just wanting to find somebody to pawn this off to, parenthood off to. And so when he doesn't turn out, and what you're seeing is a kid who is being raised by this Trini woman, and you already seen what the last one turned out like when at the funeral with Chet Hanks.
Yes.
So it's like everybody is paying for this relationship, and who's really benefiting. I guess if you're a parent who doesn't care about how things are going to go for your kid, and how culturally your kid isn't going to be your kid, then when they find I think they wanted to get a Chinese woman next, then the kids they'll probably pick up a lot of Chinese culture. So yeah.
And I think that also speaks to the fact that Chinese people are seen as more docile and quiet, and so maybe that funeral after that turn up, it was a bit much for them. They need to bring it down a notch.
Yeah, I also think it was an undertone of just how capitalism uses China for cheap labor.
Ooh, say that. I didn't even think of that. What about you, Dominic? What were your thoughts? I really did not like this episode still, even though Van's description was awesome. And it was like, oh, okay, that helps me understand it better. I still hate this episode.
Honestly, I was bad. I like this episode.
Oh my God, not you too.
Yeah.
Man, that funeral was hilarious.
The funeral was funny as hell. But what were your thoughts, Dominic?
But no, I enjoyed this episode just because also my family is Caribbean, so it was very reminiscent. It reminded me of my family a little bit, but also just with the curry mango.
Yes.
I'm not gonna lie, that's how I kind of cook. I say slight pepper and it'll be hella hot, but it was crazy. It's just honestly, those parents, they saw their son more as like a commodity than anything, because they want, it's like, oh, get someone who's like Chinese, that way you can teach them Chinese, but also it goes along with the whole Asians are like the model minority myth.
Mm.
Yeah.
That way, it's like it can be by someone ethnic, but someone that we like quote unquote think is like the best of them. But also just how they treat them throughout, like doing the picture day, doing like after Sylvia died, you saw that they did not know a single thing about how to take care of him.
Yeah.
Because they were that busy. Like the nanny was his parental figure. I would probably guess like years. But also just showing that because of that, well, he got all those traits and got to really know her family had to suffer because of it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Did either one of you have a nanny growing up?
No, I definitely didn't.
Nah.
Didn't have a nanny-oriented background. I had a lot of aunts and uncles, but no nannies at all.
Okay, Dominic, you neither.
Nah, I never had no nanny.
So do you, either one of you, feel like you missed out on either one of your parents or anything growing up?
I think there's something to be said for how, and I'll try not to be long-winded about this, but or go. I know I'm going down the road here, but there's something to be said for how capitalism, once we all become pieces of a machine, that we become less and less like people. So your parents, at some point, if they have to figure out a way to make a living, then they're going to be their life tends to get devoted to being a piece in that machine. It's not that they want to neglect being parents, but on some level, unless you are very conscious, it happens. It just happens. If your mom is working a lot of hours, and then when she gets home, she's tired. They work you long enough that when you get done working, all you have is enough energy to prepare for work again. And they don't, so when you couple that with a system who was already educating children only to be workers, then yeah, I think we all miss something. I think we all
Yeah.
miss something. And I don't think we even recognize what we're missing because we haven't been taught to even value it anymore. We haven't been taught. If everybody's being taught to be a consumer or a product themselves, then it's easy to get lost in what it means to have your humanity, what it really means to have a close knit family relationship that's full and whole. And I know I've definitely missed something, but I think most Americans miss something, but I just don't think we even recognize that we're missing it.
Yeah, I agree. I I feel like I have this conversation quite often because I do feel like we go in a roundabout circle with issues. And majority of the time they can be solved with how we have become like a slave to money and like this system of trying to stay ahead or trying to get ahead or having to work this many hours. And like now we're telling everybody to be an entrepreneur and
Mm-hmm.
about a grind and stuff like that. And it's just a lot, you know? So I don't know. I don't know if I don't know. It plays a lot to do in how we like all raise our kids too and stuff like that. It's bad. I don't know. It's just a lot. I don't want to
Mm-hmm.
go in the circle either and be on my step stool because we could be here all day talking about it. Honestly.
Yeah.
What about you, Dominic? Do you think you missed out on anything?
Yeah. Probably, but that is just due to, again, just our capitalistic society and how everyone's chasing the dollars, chasing that money, trying to get enough money to take care of the family, do all those type of things. But it's just how society is, yeah, with this like capitalistic society.
Yeah, I totally agree. So, episode 8, y'all, we will have new jazz. We will be back to talk about that. But, real quick, I just want y'all to definitely share your social media sites for the people. Let them know where they can find you and how they can support.
The scenario radio show.com, real talk with a playlist. We are currently on our summer break, but you can check out all of our shows on everywhere the great podcasts are played. We'll be back in September. We start
Hey.
start off brand new. Our first episode is actually going to be a countdown because we also do music. We're also a radio show as well, so it'll be a countdown of the greatest '90s R&B girl groups of all time.
Oh, yes.
So
I
it's going to be a
love
dope
that.
show.
I can't wait for that. Awesome. And Dominic?
Yes, and you can follow me at Slovin Studio. That's SLVIN Studio on everything: TikTok, Instagram, YouTube, all that. Currently working on some projects. Me and about the feature film here soon, and then probably sharing a little bit of sneak peeks here soon. So just follow me on my platforms to see what next project I'm going to be working on.
Awesome. Thank y'all so much. All right, we're out. Peace.